we just finished chapter 6 in our book, Why the Sea is Salty. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to preview chapter 7. What do we do when we preview? Yeah, we look at it. Preview means look at it. And what are we looking for? What would be some good things to look for? What do you think, Dennis? Hard words. Yeah, so let's go through and let's preview. Because if we can find some hard words before and talk about them, then we can understand better when we're reading. All right? So, villagers is one. We've talked about that word before. You may highlight villagers. What is a villager?
Someone that lives on the field.
You bet. Someone, it's a person, and a village is something like, what's another word for a village?
Island.
What?
Island.
Island. The village is on the island. Is the village a city or is the village a farm?
Farm.
It's actually a city.
What?
Okay, a village is like a city. So a villager is someone who lives in a city or a little town. It's probably small. I want you to go, there's a word that I see that is tricky. And it's the word S-O-L-E-S. Can you find that one? This is the word I'm looking for. Can you find it? Souls. Okay, let's look at what is a soul when it's spelled like this. Ada, do you know?
I'm pretty sure soul is like inside of you.
Oh, the soul that's inside of you is this kind of soul. Okay, soul. All right. What is this kind of soul? Does anyone know?
No.
You all have this kind of soul on right now.
Like a shoe?
Yes, like a shoe. So a sole is, we're talking about their shoes or their feet. Okay, the sole of your shoe is the bottom of it. Okay, did you find anyone find that word on their paper? Dennis? Oh, super, all right. So this is one, we're gonna talk about one that Melissa pointed out. What is this one?
Angry.
Angry. Does that make sense to you? Is this an angry face?
No. Yes.
Okay, it's hard for me to even make an angry face at you. Okay, Dennis found a great word that's long that I want us to look at. Ooh, it's huge. I love how I heard Melissa start sounding it out. She started at the beginning and she said, enormous.
Enormous.
Oh, enormous. Did you see how that went? We could just sound it out by looking at the words. We know OR says or. This looks mouse. Enormous. Enormous. What is enormous?
It's a big thing.
Alex, I heard you say it correctly. Can you say it a little louder? It's something that's big. Okay, so in our story, who is enormous?
The giant man.
Oh, so maybe that's talking about the giant. Oh, that's another great word. Hey, Dennis, I love how you're being an investigator and finding difficult words. Oh. Okay, let's try how we sound it out by looking at each of the letters. Creatures. Creature. Well, this is creature, and if we add an S to the end, it's creatures. What is a creature?
Bugs.
Oh, bugs might be creatures.
A creature is really anything living.
It is. It's anything living. Okay, let's get out our books and turn to chapter 7. We're gonna read it, but we're gonna read it all together, okay? That way everyone gets lots of practice. Okay, chapter 7 is called what? Alex, what's chapter 7?
Good.
Ants, right? Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Good.
The giant was happy. It was good to be able to help the villagers. And all he had to do was stretch out his legs and relax. The giant didn't realize that his large feet were resting on an anthill. Oh, let's stop just a second. What is an anthill?
It's where ants live.
It is. So would you like to have your hand on an anthill?
No.
No. What might happen if you put yours?
Might tickle you.
Oh, they might tickle you. Let's see what happens. Okay. Thousands of angry ants stormed out of their home and onto the giant's feet. At first, the giant thought something was tickling him as the ants swarmed over his soles and onto his toes. He wriggled his toes, but it didn't help. Then the ants began to bite. Each bite stung. Ow! Cried the giant, trying to lie still. Ow! He wanted to shake the ants off, but he wasn't able to move because the villagers were walking along his legs. He wanted to scratch the bites. Could you please hurry? He asked. Ants are biting my feet. Villagers did not believe that creatures as small as ants could annoy an enormous giant. But they did as he asked and hurried along his legs to the island. Bravely, the giant sat still until the last villager had climbed off his legs. Let's stop a second. What's happening? Alex, what can you tell us about what we just read?
It's got feet. You getting tickled and you get a bite.
Yes, who were they tickling and trying to bite? The giant, Dennis. Thanks for helping. Okay. And what are the people doing when this is happening?
They did not believe.
Their way? They did not believe that the ants were biting the giant, but what were the people trying to do?
Hurry up.
Hurry up, they're walking on the giant, right? Because he's their bridge. Okay, top of page 34, are you ready? Let's read together. As the boy led them away to get salt from the cave in the hills, the giant lifted his bare feet from the anthill. Quickly he bent his knees and shook his feet as hard as he could over the sea. The thousands of ants looked like little seeds as they were flung into the air and then dropped into the water. The giant looked at his feet. The ants had left bright red marks where they had bitten him. He lowered his big feet into the sea slowly and gently. He knew if he made waves, they would wash ashore and sweep through the villages. Then he rested his feet on the seabed and let the cool water take the sting out of the bites. Let's stop a second. So what is the giant doing?
Trying to take the sting out.
Erica, what can you tell me?
See, he tried to take the ant out of the water.
Yeah, and does it feel good when his feet are in the water?
Yes.
What do you think? Ada, what do you think?
It does.
Why do you think it doesn't?
Because it stung him.
Well, did the water sting him or did the water help it feel good?
The one made it feel good.
Yeah, so the ants stinging him hurt. And when he put his feet in the water, his feet felt better. Okay, top of page 35. Well, while he waited for the villagers to return, read with us, Dennis, he ate their gifts of boiled rice with prawns and dried fish. What are prawns again? What are prawns?
No.
They're food. What kind of food? There's like
Shrimp.
yes, like shrimp. Good job. Okay, last paragraph on page 35. I must ask them to bring dried squid next time, he thought. He closed his eyes and thought about the cave. This was the first time he had waited outside it to make sure no one was hurt. He hoped there were no salt slides. The giant was asleep with his feet still on the seabed when the villagers returned with their bamboo baskets filled with salt. He woke with a start. How are the ant bites? The villagers asked the giant. The giant chuckled. What does it mean if you chuckle?
Kind of like laugh.
It's a laugh, so he laughed about it. Okay? Okay, let's read the next one. Well, there are a lot fewer ants on your island now, thanks to me, he laughed. The villagers laughed with him. They liked this enormous man. They wouldn't go back to their island just yet. They'd stay a while and keep him company. Besides, there was no bridge to cross while his feet were soaking in the sea. Okay, so who can tell me what happened in this chapter?
And the enormous man got stung by ants, and then he asked the people to go faster, and then they got. Oh, I don't know what happened.
Okay, then they went and
the sea. They got the salt.
yes.
And then they stayed a while.
Yep. And when they stayed a while, it said they kept the giant company. What does that mean when you keep someone company?
It means like we stay close to him.
You sit close. Maybe they visited with him. Do you think the giant liked that, Alex?
Yes.
I think he did. I think that made him happy.